Hey y'all, it's Randy. I just wanted to come on pretty quickly and show you an altered file folder that I have recently made for a swap in the group Bohodaydreams. And it's a very simple construction. So that's the reason that I wanted to show you, because this is really simple, really easy, and I think anybody can do it. I did do some sewing here. And I mean, I even, my sewing machine kind of even had some flub ups, but it still kind of looks cool. I just left that there for cool factor purposes. Hopefully my partner will like it. I went for the really rustic look, and I really like it. I have never really done that before, and so I'm really excited the way this turned out. But so onto the construction. So really all this is a regular file folder. I inked it up with, let's see, vintage photo ink. Nothing special. And I did both sides. And I have a stamp that I got from Hobby Lobby that's got some script on it. And here is that. And I stamped that a bit on here. Not all over the place, but just a little bit. And then what I did is I took another file folder and I cut it. I didn't measure, I didn't do anything because I don't like measuring, if you haven't guessed yet. So let me make sure I try to keep this in frame. The sun is coming in this window. It's my best friend sometimes, and sometimes it's my enemy. So please don't hate me for what it's doing right now. It's the best light I have in this house, honest to goodness. So I took one side of one file folder and I made two cuts, two slices out of it. I could have made it thicker, but I cut the two pieces down a little bit and just glued it on right here and right here and right here. And I did go over it, like I said, with my sewing machine. But you initially just put the first cut here, which is obviously the top of the file folder. And I glued it down under here so nothing could slide in there. And these are just glued on these sides here. And so I did it again on the other side. Let me take this away. And so there's the other side of the extra file folder. I cut that and made just a long strip to go right here, and I glued it down. And the same with this one. You obviously have to do the back one first. So that is all that I did for this file folder. I did put a little tiny pocket on the back here with the strip that was left over from the middle where I cut it out. And then on the front, I did the same. So I cut one side of the file folder and I added one of the pieces up here and glued it in on the bottom so nothing would slide in, and then put this one on top. And it's great because of the measuring factor. I mean, you really don't have to measure. The extent of your thought process on this is what do I do first? Am I going to sew? Am I going to glue? You know, because if you notice here, there's no sewing on the inside of here, which I could have done that if I had done all of the pieces at one time. But unless you have an industrial sewing machine or you have a needle that's really thick, that might be an issue, which is why I just stuck with really the two layers. You can't see me here. The two layers. So, you know, you've got one file folder and essentially two here and a little bit of overlap here. So I didn't want my sewing machine to have a really hard time with that. With what was left over, and it may have been another file folder. Oh yeah, it must have been because it was at the top. I just did the same exact thing as I just cut it one side of the file folder down, and then I sewed it together on the edges and made a pocket, because the swap for this was obviously the altered file folder, but it was also for ephemera. And so you swap ephemera with your partner and you kind of make your file folder to put it in there. And so I did this on the premise of a little bit of storage. So it's not totally full. She can put some things in it of her own if she wants to use it for storage. Sorry, this file folder is pretty big when I open it. I thought the black thread looked really good, and I left the, let me move this up here, I left the strings hanging off. Of course, if she doesn't like that, she can certainly take those off. But like I said, I really went for the rustic look here. So I'll show you a few of the pieces that I made. So this is a CD case or CD holder thingy, whatever you call it. I don't know. CD envelope? Maybe that's what it is. And so I slid some little doilies in here. These are coffee dyed or tea dyed. I can't remember which one. I did those a long time ago. And I just decorated a little bit with some kind of rustic type things and left it as it was. For this one, I put several layers. I put some lace. I put another piece of material on top of that. I put some of that little metallic honeycomb looking stuff and another little piece of material and a flower. I wanted some dimension on that. But in here, I fussy cut out some feathers from a book that I have and put those in there. And just slid those in here. Now on this piece of the file folder, I added some burlap and I put some sticks, actually just roughly sewed in some sticks that I got in my yard. You know, everybody has sticks. So with some green embroidery thread, and I didn't really care what it looked like. I thought the more rustic it looked, the better, and I thought it turned out really good. I don't know, I just really liked it. I'm just, I don't know, into the woodsy thing right now. And so that's what it looks like with nothing in it. There you can see. And then I just did some kind of rustic looking fabric here, and I don't even know what this is. It might be some old lace that's not real decorative. And then I did the sewing again with the embroidery thread, and I just put some beads intertwined in there when I did that. Let's see if you can see it. Yeah. And then here's a close-up of the sticks. The sun's going a little bit wacky on me. And I just stuck some other few things in there for her. Some seam binding. And then here is another CD case thingy envelope. And I put some burlap, a little piece of some green fabric, a stick, and a little bitty flower. And these are fussy cut birds. That takes a really long time. And then I just put her some doilies in there. For the inside envelope, I just sewed around the bottom of that, and I put all the bigger pieces of paper in here. Ephemera-wise, there's some music paper and all kinds of things. Some inked sprayed paper that I've done, some coffee dyed paper, all kinds of things in there. And then if we open it up, try not to hit the camera. Let's see if I can do it this way. Sorry, y'all. This is just, I have no really good place for my camera to set it up, so I'm afraid I'm going to hit it. So on the inside, I made these hearts, and I kind of rusticed them up a little bit more with some gesso. But I had shown these in another group because I didn't want my partner to see them before she got them. So I'm getting ready to mail this out to her, so it will be okay if she sees it. But I just cut out again with the file folder and inked it up, these hearts from a stencil. I put some fabric and some burlap on top. This is my favorite one. This fabric is really cool. You know, I added some things. I cut out like a velvet leaf, added some buttons, got some more sticks, tied it with some twine. I did a little bit of sewing. Here's this right here. I had an old cork and it was getting kind of brittle. And so I brought it up to my craft room and I sliced it with my scissors, and it worked out really good, and it looked like a little wood slice. And so I stuck that on here and put a little button on top of it. I could have left it. It would have just looked like a bare piece of wood. It was really cute, but I thought it needed something else, so I added the button. And this is some corrugated cardboard, you know, with some lace and some burlap on the back. This is just a little trim that I put on with some tassels. And this one is some burlap that I sewed down the sides, and I put lace down the middle with a little green button and some twine in there. And I made an envelope for that as well out of a file folder and stamped it Rustic. There's some burlap, some lace, some sticks, and some twine and some sewing. And I love this stitch on my sewing machine. It kind of reminds me of little birds walking. You see right there, it's like, let's see if I can maybe. Oh yeah, there we go. You see, it looks like little bird's feet. I thought it was so cute. But the hearts go in there, and so that has, you know, its own pocket here. I don't know how these were in there. I'll fix it in a minute, I guess. And then in the top pocket, I made some file folder tags, and then I made some sewed all the way around. I made some pockets with some fabric, and then I just put a couple of those little fussy cut feathers in there for interest. Left the threads hanging. Used some more of that really cool fabric that I like. This fabric is all in a little fall fabric bundle that I have, and I put it out last year and sold several of them, and I still have several of them left, so I think I might put those in my Etsy shop. It's even got some cheesecloth in it. So this right here, I love the way that turned out. It was just a random little piece of lace that I had, and you know those little bits that you save at the end when you cut something off and it's too long or whatever. I just saved all my bits, and I pulled this out of there and took the embroidery thread and loosely sewed it through there and just added a little flower and glued it on here. And I don't know if this is my favorite thing or the heart's my favorite thing. It's a tie, but I really like that. I thought it was really very cute. On the other side, there's of these pockets. Let's see. I put her some postcards that I just can't bear to part with. I made copies of them, but they turn out really pretty. My printer has really good color. And so I made a little glassine bag with this stamp. I didn't make the glassine bag. I stamped the glassine bag with the stamp and put a bow on it of seam binding. Stamped this bag as well and put a little piece of material and some twine. And this has got just some random pieces of ephemera, some flashcards and things like that. And then here's some little birdies that I had bought the page from Antique Papery, and they are so adorable. So I just cut out the whole page and put those in there for her, because I love working with those. And then these are some photo slides, some old vintage photo slides from the 50s and 60s. So as you can see, you can fit a lot of stuff in there. I don't have it packed to the gills. Like I said, to leave her some room for whatever she wants to do, or she can make stuff with this. She can make her a journal with all this in this rustic theme, whatever she wants to do. And this just kind of fits down inside of there when I close it up. And I will tie that with some beautiful, probably brown and green seam binding. I don't know yet. And mail it off to her tomorrow. So I hope you all enjoyed this. I hope you thought, as I did, how easy this is. And I hope I explained it okay. I hope you guys have a wonderful night, and I will see you later. Bye.